Hey everyone, this is Mr. Robles at EID. Thanks for watching this video on how to create a pattern block puzzle. So we started this project a few days ago. We are using these pattern block colored geometric pieces to create a 2D puzzle that is going to have a background and a border or outline where somebody will be able to take your different pieces and figure out how to make them fit inside of your template to create the overall design that you have selected. So here's the beginning of my example. It is supposed to be a flower. I cut it off short and it doesn't have a stem or any leaves on it. And it should be missing, or should be having some green parts that's missing for like the stem and the flowers. And I'll be showing you that in my example as we walk through on how to do this in SolidWorks. So you are starting first by picking a design or a theme that you are going to do and assembling these pattern block pieces first just freehand on your desk to figure out how you're going to put them together to create the theme or design that you want. You will be then using this picture and some parts you will be downloading and assembling in SolidWorks to create a background or base and an outline or border, which is going to make up the two separate pieces that you're going to design and laser cut in this class to create your pattern block puzzle. So your pieces will be fitting inside of the border or outline and on top of this background. Here's another example. You can see here's two different pieces. So on the left hand side in my hand here is the one outline or border, and it has the same exact overall profile or shape as the base plate, and these will be attached on top of each other to create the overall puzzle, and then hand over to somebody to try to figure out your puzzle and how to make these pieces fit inside of it. So to get started with this, one thing you are going to have to do is on GrabCAD. If you're in my class, you should have an account on GrabCAD already, G-R-A-B-C-A-D, grabcad.com. It's an awesome CAD or computer design file library with a bunch of different things. And one of the things that's on there for you guys that you will find if you search for pattern block is these two sets of files that I have made available for people to download on GrabCAD. So one quick tangent, when I first put these up for you guys, this tan or beige diamond actually had the incorrect angles, and I uploaded that again. And if you are going to use this tan or beige diamond in your design, you want to make sure you download the one that is separate, called pattern block diamond. In this case right now we're only going to worry about downloading these pattern block geometric pieces. So when you go to this on GrabCAD, you notice that I put a couple instructions or information on here. One is that these are all sized, like every side of these, for example, the one side of a square, one side of a rhombus, the side of a triangle, every length, individual length of sides is 0.972 inches. These are supposed to be a nominal 1 inch, but they actually measure about 972 thousandths. We don't have to be worrying about that any further after this, because we're actually going to use these pieces in SolidWorks to create your design. So you're going to be downloading these. Make sure when you download them, you put them into a folder that you know where they are. Do not work out of your downloads folder. Okay, so in this case, I've just put them on my desktop for now, just to make it quick and easy. Do not do this. You should be putting them in a folder for this class or for period 1 or period 2, whatever you want to call it, as long as you know where you're saving it. So in SolidWorks, we are going to be assembling these pieces. When you create an assembly, or when you create a new file, you have the option to create an assembly, to create a part, and to create a drawing. If you are designing or making an individual part, you will notice that the icons, like I've shared before on SolidWorks, are very representative or illustrate what you are actually doing with that tool or with that task. In this case, we are not creating an individual part. We are stacking, metaphorically, or putting together or assembling separate pieces. And the assembly icon, hey, guess what? Look, it's different pieces coming together and being put together in a specific shape. So we're going to create an assembly. When you pick assembly, stretch this back out again, you will be given the option to begin an assembly. That's weird. To begin an assembly with whatever file you want. Now, if you started by first opening the file and then going to File and then Make Assembly from Part, which is not available for me at this time, you would be starting already with that part. If you go straight to create a new assembly, that's another good way to do it. And you're going to browse and go find that part you're going to start with. In the case of my flower, I think I'm going to start with the hexagon because that's in the center of my flower. So I'll pick the hexagon, open. I will place this in the center of my viewing field. And then you're going to repeat this next process for every part that you bring into this assembly. And this is going to be really good practice on how to bring in different components and assemble them and making sure that they are mated correctly. So you are going to insert a component. The next part that I'm going to insert for this assembly is going to be the red petals of my flower, which is made up of the trapezoid red piece from the pattern blocks. I'm going to bring that into my design. So you notice right now it's kind of just attached to my mouse. Wherever I move my mouse, that goes. I'm going to go ahead and click it somewhere where it's close to where I want to put it. Now the next step is to mate these or attach these. Again, this icon, super representative of what you're doing. You might have heard of this thing called a paper clip, and you can use it to attach different pieces of paper together, and we're going to use that quote-unquote paperclip tool or mate to attach these pieces together. So if I was actually holding these pieces on my desk in front of me, I would be bringing this face or surface of the red trapezoid over to touch this side of the hexagon to match those up to where I want to put it. And that's actually what we're going to do in SOLIDWORKS. So I've opened up Mate. It's up here, Mate. And I'm going to select this surface. So one side of one shape to the other side of the shape on the skinny profile where I want it to go. Green check mark. So this is one mate. Please keep in mind you always need at least 3 mates to completely attach any piece that you're attaching against something else, unless it is a cylindrical object. So that's the first mate. Next is I'm going to level out this surface with this surface to make those in line with each other. That is the second mate. And lastly, I'm going to mate these two edges. So I want these corners to be lined up, and you are going to do exactly that. Line up those corners together, corner to corner. Make sure that you are selecting the edge. Do not select a point. Do not select the point in the center of the part. Make sure you are selecting edges. So you can see here that whole edge on this part is being highlighted. So edge to edge, that is the third mate. I can press the green check mark twice, and now if I look at my overall assembly, these two pieces are completely locked into each other and mated and can no longer be moved. If I try to move them, SOLIDWORKS will tell me this component is fixed, fully defined, and it cannot be moved. So you're going to repeat that process until you have completely assembled all of your pattern block pieces to create your full design. So here's my full design. I intend to create a flower. It is made up of 1 hexagon, 6 trapezoids, and 4 green triangles. That meets my design constraints for this project of a maximum of 10 pattern block pieces and 3 different colors, and they are all touching at least one other piece to create one continuous shape. So once you have your assembly done, please make sure you do this, and you should probably do this at least every few minutes along the way. Click that save button, because if you don't and SOLIDWORKS crashes or your computer dies or you lose internet, you will not be able to save this. So make sure you are saving that all the way along the process. Once you have your assembly done, the next step that we're going to go through to actually create your outline and then your background for your puzzle is to create a new sketch on top of this assembly. So on the surface of any of these parts, you are going to right click, and then select this second button in the 3rd row. You can also left click actually, and it's the same menu that pops up. So it's the 2nd button in the 3rd row for sketch. So make sure you are selecting a flat surface on one of these parts. So 2nd button in the 3rd row, sketch. I'm going to now, this is a hotkey, hold Control on my keyboard. It's next to like the Windows button, the top or bottom left corner of your keyboard. So I'm holding Control on my keyboard and then pressing the number 8. When I do that, SOLIDWORKS makes whatever I'm working with, in this case this surface that I selected for the hexagon, it makes it flat to my viewing plane. So once you've done this, you are going to trace the overall profile of this shape. The quickest way to do this is to highlight all the surfaces of these parts and then convert entities. The easiest way to do this is to use this line tool and then start on a corner and then work your way around, making sure that the dot pops up on the corner, and then you're going to go and carefully go all the way through and then basically trace the overall outline of this part. For this video, I think it's going to take too long, so I'm going to do the shorter way. I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard. I'm going to highlight by clicking every surface of every part in my assembly. Not points, just surfaces. Make sure that the surface is highlighted blue like this. I'm still in sketch mode, notice. Then you are going to select inside of the Sketch tab, Convert Entities. SOLIDWORKS will automatically trace every single edge. Pay attention to that one. Every single edge, not just the overall profile. So I'm going to copy all these lines that have been highlighted and turned into sketch lines. Highlight everything and then press Control-C to copy it. SOLIDWORKS is going to say, hey, you can't copy solids, you can only copy your sketches. That's not really what it's saying, but it's what it means. You're going to say yes. You can exit out of the sketch mode with this green arrow back in the top right corner, and then go create a new sketch, a new part. So we're going to make a new part, and here's where it gets really quick, really easy. When we create a new part, you're going to make a new sketch. Pick the sketch button, pick the front plane, hover over your origin, and then press Control-V. So there's everything I just copied. Now, is this my overall outline of the shape? No, it has all these extra lines in the middle, and I'm going to get rid of those with Trim Entities. These little scissors. So the way this works is you click your mouse, you hold it down, and then you just slice through all the parts that you don't want. So remember, we want to keep the overall outline of our shape. So I'm going to slice through all of that. Here's my overall outline of the shape. I'm going to press the green check mark back, and then now I am done with those parts. Hey, look, there's a little gap here. I don't really want that. So I'm going to go and use Trim Entities again and get rid of those parts that I don't want. I think that's the only place where that happened. I'm going to replace this line here. Okay. So I have the overall outline of my shape. Kind of looks like a palm tree now instead of a flower. And I'm going to go now to Features and create a 3D from this with Extruded Boss. Once you pick Extruded Boss, you can click inside of the shape if you want. Here's what you want to make sure you keep in mind. We are first making your outline. We are first making your outline. So, oh wait, there's one part that I skipped that we cannot forget. We need to give this some tolerance and some extra space to make sure your parts fit. So to do this, we're going to return to the Sketch tab. We're going to select this Offset Entities button. Make sure that Chain is selected. Select Chain. And we're going to offset or create some extra space of 0.01 inches all the way around. So you're going to click on a line. It's not picking everything. Let's try that again. Offset entities 0.01. Cannot create that off selected geometry. That's a shame. We'll continue for now, and I'll help you guys do that individually. So, Features tab, Extruded Boss. Click inside the overall shape. You are then going to select and click Thin Feature and make this 0.2 inches thick. Hey, something's going on here. Let's fix that. Close this for now. Don't save. We will delete that sketch. Start a new sketch. We will use the line tool and trace the overall shape of our part. only the overall shape of the part, your overall perimeter or outline. So it goes to show sometimes doing what should be the quickest way doesn't always work immediately the way you want it to, and sometimes you have to put in the work and make sure that it comes out the way it's supposed to. I'm almost back to where I started, completely tracing this outline. There we go. I'll press escape on my keyboard, and now I can highlight everything. Control C. Again, still can't copy solids. Get out of that sketch mode, go start a new part with a new sketch on the front plane. Press Control V, and we'll go straight to Features tab. So if you trace this line by line all the way around, it's always going to work. It takes a little bit longer, but as you saw right now, I just spent more time trying to make the shortcut work. So we're going to go straight to the Features tab, select Extruded Boss, Thin Feature, and we're going to make this 0.2 inches thick. Green check mark. Now this is done. This is the complete outline of your part. This is the border that is going to contain your puzzle pieces on top of the background. So we are going to go ahead and save this file, save as. Make sure you're selecting save as. I'm going to tell this for now to save it on my desktop because that's where I'm working out of my computer for this example. And this is my puzzle outline. Enter. That's done. Next, I'm going to use this same puzzle outline to create my puzzle background. Now the background has to be a solid shape, right? So for that, I'm going to make sure you're paying attention to this part here. I'm going to right click on the flat surface of my puzzle outline. So right click. Second button in the second row for sketch. I'll press Control 8 again here. Control 8 to make the part normal to my screen. And then we're still in sketch mode here. We're going to select Convert Entities and then go back straight again to the Features tab and Extrude. And then this time, instead of doing a thin feature, we are going to make this just a solid all the way around. So if you're looking at this and you pay attention, this is actually making it come out of the part, and we want it to be together with what's already there. So we're going to reverse direction, green check mark, and now my background is completely done. Now repeat the process we just did about 30 seconds ago. Save as, and this is now my puzzle background. Puzzle background or puzzle base. Now I'm done with these parts. I only needed to design two parts after I put everything together. One is the base, the other is the outline, which I have here as a separate part now. And part of what you're doing to get this turned in and to be able to laser cut it is this last and final step. So when you're done with this and you take screenshots of this with snipping tool and you have added it to your assignment, that's all part of this project. That's all fine and dandy, and that's great. That's part of you getting your points for this project. But we cannot cut pictures like this on the laser cutter to make it fit the way it's supposed to. So make sure that you do not forget the most important part at the end of this so you can have a final product and finish this project is to convert these to DXFs. And you do that again by right-clicking on the surface of a part, any flat surface, then export to DXF. Now these are part of the things that you're uploading in your Google Drive and then also attaching to your document for this project. You'll notice that the file name is the same, and now the file extension or type is different. It's a DXF now, and that's what we can use on the laser cutter to cut these parts out of plastic and foam core. So we'll save that. It's going to ask you for some options. You don't need to mess with any of those right now, and you're going to click on the green check mark. Then SOLIDWORKS gives you a preview. We're almost done here. SOLIDWORKS gives you a preview. It's black and white. You press save, and now that DXF is saved and it's ready to turn in to get laser cut. You are going to repeat that same process with your outline here. So thanks for watching this video again. I know it's kind of lengthy, but I did say I would do the full instructions on how to get all of this done. Please remember that you need to download these parts off of GrabCAD. And when you guys go to, if you are in my class right now, when you go to Canvas, we have that assignment for a pattern block puzzle. When you go to the pattern block puzzle page on Canvas, there is a link to the Google Doc where you are filling out all of your information for this project. There are links to the GrabCAD page where you're downloading these parts. And remember that you need to upload your DXFs to Google Drive. Upload your DXFs to Google Drive, and that's how you attach them to this document so you can get them turned in and laser cut. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps. Please feel free to skip through. I know this is at the end now, but please feel free to skip through, go back and replay the parts that you need to make sure you get any instructions or clarification that you're looking for. All right, talk to you guys next time.